Hello again guys, welcome to Dwellers in the Dark, and this is part 2 of flocking. Now for a lot of my videos over the last week I have been intensively showing you all my awesome scenery and been a bit big-headed about it. Apologies there. Listen, we're going to go straight into this flocking video and no rambling around. I'm going to show you my procedures. This is flocking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 all in one, and so I'll show you what I'm doing and then I'll break it down afterwards. Okay? Speak to you soon. Okay guys, so stage 1 is, you remember I did the original bases and I did them in a base flock as such. Excuse the angle, left-handing job here. So with that base flock done, dried and cured or whatever, I'm now outside. We're taking that base and we're going to give it a fantastic overhaul of watered down PVA spray, which will soak it up, and then we'll get on to the next stage of adding on the flocks. Here's my spray in Mr. Muscle, watered down PVA, and here are the 2 bits and pieces. We're just going to give a quick spray into, so just bear with me. As you can see, I'm giving them a thorough soaking. They don't need it, but the process that I'm going to be using really asks for everything to be soaked right down to basics, and you'll see why. So I'll just crack on with this and leave you in the hands of some beautiful music. Okay, as you can see, back indoors now, and I've got the 2 in a tray, and I'm going to set up the camera and give you a good look at how I'm going to apply the flock. The flock comes in 4 stages. We have stage 1, not the PVA. Well, I suppose stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, and lastly stage 5, which you can't really see in there, but there's a bit of red. You'll see it when we get started. Okay, less of my yapping, and let's get on cracking. Okay, cool. Okay, and so I've got 2 here. I've got 1 in this tray, second one in this, and I'm going to be using doing the process as well, I'll just do the process on 1, make it easier for you to see. So excuse hands in the way, but I get a tiny bit, I get a tiny bit of flock on a spoon. It doesn't even matter if I'm precise or not. If I accidentally truck it elsewhere, well, so be it. So I just dabble this on the soaking wet PVA, as you can see, in places where I want it to come up a little bit. Doesn't matter how much I put it on, or in fact where I put it on, to be honest. But this is stage 1 of this process, and the whole idea is that this flock is literally going to get soaked up, and hopefully some of the paint, too much there, but hey ho, some of the paint within the flock may also slightly run. And not an ideal situation, but this is the way I've made this flock for this process, and we'll either be smiling and happy or crying at night. So that's a bit more there, just you can kind of see it's maybe coming out a little bit more. Okay, so that's stage 1. We'll take this one away and then we'll bring in this one. Okay, so again, real small amount, and what I'm doing here is I'm actually trying to give the effect of highlights on, not necessarily on, but definitely around kind of a bushy area, so you can see, you know, I'm not exact where I put it. In fact, in some cases I may even put it where I haven't any of the previous one, just to break up the colours. So I am dabbing it on everywhere that I've put on the previous one, because I want to give that highlight that's most important. Should I say highlight and difference. Now again, I have no problem if this one also has a bit of a run in it. Again, the reason I made this now very, very wet in there, so we'll get a tiny bit more. There we go, and there we go. Okay, so that's that, and now we're on to another colour, and this colour is exactly the same. Well, when I say exactly the same, it is literally the same as the one I've just put on. It's smaller granules, but most importantly, there is a slight higher tone in it, and that will hopefully blend in the larger granules that I've just used to the base. But we'll see how all of this turns out. Again, trying my best to get accurate, but if I don't, you know, no tears. I'm doing up to, what, 12 of these sets, so it makes no difference if I'm not as overly, how do I say, perfect as I'd like to be. Okay, so pass that one aside, and then in comes this one, which is again another green, but it has tones of red in it, and these tones of red will pull out the colours a little bit more. And I'm still relying on the fact that the watered down PVA is still extremely wet, and through capillary action is going to put all of these together. I will finish this off after it's dried by giving another coat, but less intense coat of watered down PVA to seal it all, of course, because these are all, there we go, these are all gaming pieces, and they need to be durable for that. Okay, another little bit there. Let's get something down here, and a splattering there and there. Okay, so yeah, this is going to tone itself down. I say finger crossed. I'll give you an example of one of the ones I've just recently done, and another one that you have here, which I've finished maybe 10-15 minutes ago, so you can see now things are drying a little bit. I'm given, it's kind of clumping, which is fantastic. The capillary action of the watered down PVA is going to soak up through and bind all of that. It'll leave this as a bit of a finish. It'll brighten up when the darker aspect dries up as well, so it'll be good to come back and see how this has all turned out. I like it. As I said, the three-dimensional aspect of these little hillocks, because the capillary action and it's going, and they're all very, very small particles, they'll bind stronger, in my opinion, than a piece of foam or a large piece of foam or stuff. So we'll see how this comes out. Again, as I stated, it's a gaming piece, so we are going to have models, and the key thing is I need to make sure that I haven't glued these parts to the base, because that would be tragedy. But we'll come back to these, and we'll have a look-see. Cool. What I'll do now is I'll just move this one away, and I'll bring the other one into view, and I'll get that one done, so you'll be able to see a second round. Try and work a bit quicker on this, guys. Let's zoom you out a bit more. That's a little bit better for you. Okay, so back to picking out these points that I want to highlight the ground. Now this is the forest aspect. The one I just showed you was the Iron Hills dwarf sort of aspect for modular, and yeah, it's all looking okay. So with the rain coming in, it's the finished products, and this is all 12 of the master bases with some of their accessory attachments all flocked up. So let's take a little bit of a close in there. Here we go. So you can see the three-dimensional effect of the flocking I'm trying to get, and you'll see how it all ties in quite nicely. There we go. These have yet to dry, but in the process I'll be doing a bit of removing to make sure that my PVA doesn't give me grief, like there. I may actually take those out. But yeah, that's it, guys. So that's a quick 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stage of flocking. I'll go away later on and I'll give these another quick run over with watered down PVA, and I may add a tiniest bit of extra flock in places depending on what I want to do. The next thing I'm going to be taking a look at, if I can find it, is I'm going to be looking at making some trees. This is just a one-off attempt, not the greatest, still needs some proper flocking in places, but that'll go in nicely there. And this is where I harp on about bits and pieces. These will be the aspects I'll be using to make the trees, and underneath all of this is one of the accessory pieces. It doesn't look good here, but trust me, when this is painted up, it's a fallen tree, rotten fallen tree, and it will look fantastic based in around any of these pieces when sorted out. But you know, not a great video of this just yet. Well, sorry there, but yeah, you'll get the idea. And there's nice clearance underneath. Right, so I love you and leave you. I'll crack on. The next video now, I believe, is going to be about the ETC itself, where we're looking at the draw, the best sportsman, the best painting award, all of that. So we'll cover all of that, and including our sponsors. Okay guys, speak to you later. Bye for now.